Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
So Frank Miller won't stop making Dark Knight sequels, and he just did one this week that we're shooting this episode.
Wow.
It's called Dark Knight Returns: The Golden Child.
Oh, this just came out.
This just came out. It's,
shit.
it's written by Frank Miller with art
Hey,
by...
it's Black Label.
Yeah, of course the Black Label book, because nothing is. No, it's because everything that needs a rating that's above what Standards and Practices or the Comics Code Authority would deem appropriate would just be lumped into Black Label. Since Black Label is not the hard-edged, all adults, anything goes label that it was purported to be when they launched it.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
So now, we won't even try to censor when you say the word shit. Okay, what about if I want to show Batman?
Seems arbitrary.
It is. By Frank Miller, alone.
Is this a one-shot?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
I thought it was the beginning of a series until I finished reading it and went, wait, it says the end. And it's part of the ongoing saga that
Sure.
is the Dark Knight universe
Right.
that Frank Miller created.
So
that-
I guess he's trying to be like, no, I don't have to just do entire, like, huge events.
No.
I could just do little individual
All right,
stories in
Like-
the Dark Knight universe.
like-
It's not bad. This is $6.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's almost a double size issue.
Right, exactly.
So, like, yeah, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
From Frank Miller. Okay.
yeah, well,
Yeah, but
we'll
like
see.
that doesn't mean that it's great anymore. Like,
Hasn't meant that in a long time, man.
But it is part of the pantheon of Dark Knight Returns stories. Adding
DC
it
could have charged $10 for this.
easily.
They
Oh,
could have
yeah.
charged even $8 for this.
They could have
went
put
with
a,
$6.
they could have put a harder cover on it and really like built you for it. I think that they're aware. They're like, look, the reality is we're gonna make money, but not this amount of money, and we don't want to piss off the readers by trying to get too much money.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think that Frank Miller is gonna keep doing this. Like he's like, I got lots of stories about these characters.
I got little snippets.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll just drop in once in a while.
They may not work all as a giant arc of a story.
No.
But I got snippets.
Well, and he's now got basically his own universe. Like, they might as well just hire Frank Miller full-time and just write Dark Knight Returns stories from now on.
Yeah.
At this point,
Right.
you know, he's not done, and he can get top-tier talent like Raphael Grandpa, who's incredible on this.
Raphael Grandpa? His last name's Grandpa?
Well, it has an accent mark over the
Oh.
A, so I think it's Grandpa.
Ah.
This is actually taking place after Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. So,
Great.
a few things happened.
Right.
One, Lara, Superman and Wonder Woman's daughter, she betrayed everybody and joined the Kryptonian cult,
Yep.
and then stopped. And also, Wonder Woman's and Superman's son, Jonathan, is a little older now. He was a baby in Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. Now he's a little old. He can talk and walk around and fly and stuff. But he's still a little kid.
Okay.
He is the golden child of the titular series
Okay.
of one issue.
So, Jonathan is the golden child.
Yes.
But this book is about Batman.
No, it's in the Dark Knight Returns universe.
Oh.
Batman does not appear in this book.
He's on the cover, though.
No.
No, he's not.
Oh,
That's
no.
Carrie Kelly, Batwoman.
Oh.
Because also in Dark Knight 3, The Master Race,
Yep.
Carrie Kelly became Batwoman. And had a costume set up, but now they've changed it. I think for the better. I gotta tell you, Grandpa's art is super duper cool, and I love the design of Carrie Kelly's Batwoman costume. There's a lot to like about this. It's all Grandpa's art. So let's jump into it.
Grandpa essentially, like, took what Frank Miller was doing with that universe. Is like, I'm just going to make it cleaner.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's very much in the style of, like, let's say, like a Frank Whiteley, where it's very stylized, it's very European. I remember Frank Miller talking about this series and really wanting to kind of get back to the European style of comics, which is like oversized, a little bigger, breaking the format a little bit. He did that with Superman Year One, and he had hoped to do it with this, but it's a standard size. Incidentally, he also referenced the old Marvel 80s original graphic novels, which he says nobody wants to talk about anymore, but we do, because we've done at least 3 of those on this show. But I love that, because I'm like, yes!
Do that!
Frank Miller knows the comic book industry, and he knows what people want, or at the very least, what people should want, which is more
What you want.
Yeah, more story, less money, higher stakes. I think that we can all agree on that.
That'd be good.
And that's kind of what this is.
No, I want filler. I want just sugary substance that tastes like, it explodes, but there's no substance
I want
to it.
fruit stripe gum of comics.
And ads.
Huge
Ads
ads
throughout.
galore.
Gigantic
By the way,
ads.
no
Confusing ads.
Yeah.
No ads in this?
Non-stop. No.
There we go.
Yeah,
great. This is
exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's what you should be getting for a prestige story.
Yeah.
So
And
okay.
$6.
Since Dark Knight Strikes Again, the sequel to Dark Knight Returns and the beginning of the end, they introduced Lara, the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman. She is a dipshit. An unending, constant stream of horseshit.
Right.
She hates humans. She thinks they're stupid, and gross, and dumb. And she hates them, and she should
Well, she
rule
hates her
them.
parents, too.
She hates her parents because she's a teenager, but she has a real problem with humanity. She went through that arc in Dark Knight Strikes Again, and then at the end of it, she should have learned a lesson from Superman, which is like, we're born to serve them. They're like they don't know how great they could be. Blah 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 blah. All the Superman stuff that Superman would be accused of being a dope for believing, but we all like because some of us on this couch actually like Superman. So Lara supposedly went through that arc, and then in Dark Knight 3: The Master Race, she goes right back to being an asshole to the point
falls
where
off the wagon.
She falls off the wagon.
You don't have to worry. We were like that because we only had the humans. Now we have the Kandorians.
Right. Well, but these people were not even Kandorians. They were other than Kandorians. They destroyed Kandor.
Yeah, but they were Kryptonians.
They were Kryptonians, yes.
It's like I believe I went along with Superman when he was the only other Kryptonian.
Yeah.
But now there's other ones.
Yeah,
and I like what they're saying better.
Well, and they agree with me.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm on the same
They're not
page.
trying to challenge me.
Hey,
Make me be a better person.
Does Green Lantern show up in this book and have his fake arm?
No. The only major case, this is kind of like a reimagining of World's Finest, where it's like, it's Batman and Superman. This is Supergirl and Batwoman.
Okay.
If Lara were to call herself Supergirl, which I don't think she does. But yeah, so she falls off the wagon in Dark Knight 3: The Master Race, and she's just like insufferable. And you're like, okay, look, I know that like we're supposed to want her to get better or to get stronger. I know that it would like destroy a man to find out that his daughter is a monster who betrayed her own people and joined a cult and like slaughtered countless people, or at least contributed to the slaughter of countless people. But like, why don't you just kill her? Because like we got Jonathan now. Like we don't need Lara. Like she was the Deus Ex Machina of Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Right.
But it's Dark Knight 3: The Master Race, and Frank, you're not even writing this shit. So why don't we just kill her off? But we don't.
She's also irredeemable at this point.
Exactly. But we redeem her anyway, and so she's on the team.
Damn it.
We open this book, and she is back to being a complete asshole. She's begrudgingly a superhero.
She's always been the asshole, though. It's not that she's back to it.
Well, because at least at the end of Dark Knight Strikes Again, you got the inkling that she was going to redeem herself.
Right. Well, but so then this just picks right up from
It
Dark
just
Knight 3.
Yes. Oh, no, it is straight up right after Dark Knight 3.
Okay.
Well, a couple years later, though, because Jonathan can talk.
Oh, yeah. But thematically and where everyone is in their lives, that they haven't really...
Absolutely. But it must be a couple years later, though that's even more frustrating because Lara is a broken freaking record. Because she's been bitching about humanity since Dark Knight 3: The Master Race.
Right.
So at least a year or two.
Yikes.
Okay.
So she is just completely unloading about humanity to Superman. And he's dressed up as Clark Kent. He's going to work because he's reassumed the guise of Clark Kent. He brought him back. So he's talking to Lara and he's arguing with her about humanity. You know, humanity's good, humanity's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Jonathan is just kind of sitting there absorbing it all. And he's thinking, and if you're remembering Superman Year One, when Superman was a little boy and he was capable of higher thinking and rationalizing things as an adult, then this will seem very familiar because young Jonathan is able to articulate that, like, all the adults do is talk. They talk and they talk and they talk, but they never do anything. They're always just full of talking. This doesn't go anywhere, and it's not like a theme. It sounds like it's setting up a theme, but don't worry, this is a Frank Miller book, so it's not. And instead, he's just kind of acknowledging that Lara is full of words and hot air, and Clark is also full of words and hot air, and they're just on two different sides of the coin. And I think that Frank's also trying to get you to think about, like, you know, the young and their parents and how they're always constantly arguing. We got two different complete generations, and they all have different interpretations about what's happening now.
Right.
This is also a very politically charged book. It's really talking about what's happening today, despite the fact that it's taking place in a nebulous future. So Clark and Lara leave Jonathan in the apartment to muse about humanity and how people love to talk. Then we cut to, I guess, a later time because now Jonathan and Lara are together and out. just out with people.
Just flying around.
They're just flying around, and Laura's trying to convince Jonathan that humanity sucks, they don't deserve this planet, and they're all garbage.
Okay.
And
to what end, Laura?
Right. Well, because
Lara, whatever.
That's kind of like what the young do.
Right.
Like they yell and they spit and they complain and they argue about their opinion to people who will never change their minds.
Right.
I love it because no one agrees with her. Mm-hmm. They never create a character, again, since Dark Knight 3, who agrees with her and goes like, yeah, something right. Yeah,
right.
Good point, Lara. So Jonathan is like, Lara, shut up. Lara then takes Jonathan through a little tour of Metropolis.
Oh my God.
And shows him how fragile everyone is and how like all these people do. They get broken, they try to get fixed, they fill their bodies with garbage, they eat, they fart, they yell, they scream, they ejaculate, they're just gross. Just get them out of here.
It's like a cracked mirror, like Ghost of Christmas, like present.
Yeah,
or
except they're trying to
past.
convince Ebenezer Scrooge to just leave everyone alone and just keep doing it up. Like,
Yeah, you live in Metropolis. Try going to Gotham. See how good it is
exactly.
over there.
Yeah, Laura should know. Although, no, probably Bruce has it on lockdown at this point.
Yeah, they're not allowed in that city.
Yeah, but she's
Kryptonian lasers will shoot him out of the sky.
That's right. But she's showing him around, and then she goes, observe Exhibit A, the one and only exhibit I really need to show how crappy humanity is. There's an election going on right now for Donald Trump. It's just Donald Trump. There's no bones about it. He's not an allegory character.
It's just a picture of him on
It's just a picture of Donald Trump. It's an unidealized version. He's got the raccoon eyes because of his spray tan.
Yeah.
But like, it's just Donald Trump. And in this reality, Donald Trump is running for governor. I don't know why he decides to scale back and not just put it right on the nose, pin the tail right on the donkey, and just go like, yo, Donald Trump's running for president again, because they're saying we can't handle him again.
Yeah, not again. No
So it's
more
like,
hate.
okay, why don't you just say he's running for president again? Arguably, this is also kind of echoing what's happening in Doomsday Clock, because Doomsday Clock kicks off and Donald Trump is president in that as well.
Oh.
And you're like, okay, maybe Frank's like, I don't want to draw allegories between this and that. So there's a riot going on. There's protesters against the Governor Trump. And a bunch of anarchists who are attacking them who are dressed like Jokers.
Oh, okay.
And so, and they have their classic Frank Millerisms. They don't have any fun dialects. There's no great language that he's invented.
He's just
for
given
the
up on the future lingo
Yeah.
that was so prevalent in
Dark Knight
Knight
Returns. Yeah. No, instead they just repeat themselves. And they say crazy things like, push it over, push it, burn it all. They're running amok, these clowns. And then suddenly one of them gets hit in the face with some pink goop. And we pull back, and it's Batwoman, who's, of course, Carrie Kelly. And she's in her new Batwoman costume. And she's blasting these Molotov cocktails that are also shooting pink liquid. Maybe there's this special concoction that Bruce invented that when you mix it with the alcohol in this bottle will create not fire, but instead pink goop. Never addressed, never explained.
Maybe it's Pepto-Bismol.
Right? These people just look like they have some indigestion. Grandpa's art is super cool and awesome, but it looks like goop and then kind of becomes smoke. So maybe the implication is that it's actually just kind of like this gas. It's not tear gas because it's not stopping these people at all. It's atmospheric gas that creates a cool pink canvas upon which we can have this action sequence.
Right. Well, and it probably helps
because
her
the clowns
fight.
are so green, we need something to pop.
Yeah, exactly. So it does. And so
It also
Carrie,
like isolates the crowd from each other. Like you can only see who's immediately around you. You can't like
That's true.
interact and work with people over there.
Right. So Carrie, as Batwoman, engages the crowd along with the Sons of Batman.
Yay.
Who we've established in Dark Knight Strikes Again have evolved from the Sons of Batman into actual Bat Boys who wear Batman costumes.
Right.
But that was 10 years ago, and so Frank's forgotten about that, so
Right.
now they're Batman sons again. We then check in, because it's a Dark Knight Returns book, we got to look at what the media has to say about this.
Sure.
So we check in on like the websites. We got Gotham Gazette.
Our talking heads are gone?
The talking heads are gone. Now the talking heads are everyone. It's just the
Right.
blogosphere.
It's the
Twitterverse.
It's the Twitterverse.
There is, we don't get our news from like two well-dressed, oddly earringed arbiters of news. Now
Right.
everyone is a newsman. So we've got Twitter, which is called Pigeon,
Okay.
Okay.
True News, Gotham Gazette, but all these things talking about the riots and what people would do. Feh, says Governor. Governor washes hands of whole mess.
Ah.
These are quotes.
Right.
But
And we have to assume that means Governor Trump.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Naturally. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I think you could assume every time they reference the governor in this book, it's going to be
Trump.
Trump.
Because he's getting reelected.
Governor of the state that they're
of the
in?
great state of where they are. So one of the Jokers escapes from the crowd and makes a call on his cell phone saying, listen, that chick's here and she's kicking the crap out of us. What are we going to do? Okay, I love it. Great. Boys, we're leaving. So then Jonathan...
New strategy. Run away.
Yeah, bail.
Bail?
Bail.
I could bail.
So they do. Meanwhile, of course, Laura and Jonathan are just like rising above it all, listening in on this conversation.
Look at
Not helping,
Look
just
at these
watching.
ants.
Yes.
Fighting.
Well, Jonathan's listening in on the conversation the Joker had because he's observant. And he says, things are about to get really bad, Laura. Like, really bad, really soon. Then we cut to a new location. If you remember, the Batcave was kind of their base of operations for Batman and the Sons of Batman and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they blew up Wayne Manor. They created a new cave in Dark Knight Strikes Again. Throughout the rest of the series, they have like a cave. We don't really get to see much of Batman's base in Dark Knight 3: The Master Race, but it is presumably a cave. Now it's like a compound.
Wow. It's got like turrets and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we need it to be like organized.
Right.
Yeah.
And like rigid.
And it, like I gotta tell you, it looks really cool.
It does look cool.
But
It's also very conspicuous. I
well,
guess.
it doesn't exist because there's holographic projectors around it that create a like forest. So it doesn't exist. It says it over and over again, which is why I
I
harped
see.
on it.
Yeah.
But the troops call it Ground Zero. Carrie calls it the Bat Bunker. So that's what we're gonna call it, the Bat Bunker.
Bat bunker.
So Carrie brings Laura to the Bat Bunker, where the two of them talk about what the strategy is going to be, because now it's a book about Batwoman and Superwoman.
Okay.
Like the world's finest team, but this is the next generation. And I'm
Sure.
like, cool, look at Carrie and Laura working together.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, how does that work? If Laura hates humanity and
well,
so raging
well, because
against
she's
everybody-
also a huge hypocrite.
Yeah, well, she hates it, but
She's
like
a dumbass. The whole point is like
She
her.
knows she's supposed to be helpful, so she's like kind of trying.
Oh,
to be.
she even makes a point where she says like, "Don't you tell me what to do," and she's like, "I will tell you what to do." And she's like, "Yes, I'm."
So she's just a she's just a bitch.
Yeah,
Which you can't put
her
names on,
rhetoric
but-
is indefensible and stupid. We're supposed to think she's a dumbass.
Yeah.
But she's the obstacle. She's the argument. She's the
Right.
the
At the end, she just does what she's told, though.
Yeah, of course.
Right. I guess because Carrie Kelly is like just
What
has
is
that
Frank-
much like
She has
personality.
become Batman.
Yeah.
Like Carrie Kelly has gone from like the hopeful, bright next generation to having been raised by Dark Knight Returns Batman. So literally she says, "We're taking orders from you now? Kryptonians! We're taking orders from flying rats." And she goes, "You'll take my orders because you don't know a damn thing about what to do about Darkseid." And you're like, "You're gonna put Darkseid in this now?"
Is Darkseid in this, or is that just a reference to like how effed up things can get?
Darkseid is the villain of this.
Oh God, what?
And she says, "You'll listen to me and you'll do as you're told." And Laura says, "Okay, I'll listen."
Wow, she just gives up immediately.
Yes.
Well,
okay, I give in.
I'll
I fold.
listen.
Yeah.
I'll listen, but I won't do what I'm told until
Until
it's
I
time
do.
to do it. Yeah.
Okay, I can't argue with the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing.
Naturally.
Yeah, I have no counter. Fine.
Right. So then we cut to the Joker. And the
What?
Joker from Dark Knight Returns is here and he's alive.
Except he's dead.
Except he's dead, but he's here now. So he is putting on his famous lipstick from Dark Knight Returns and he's hanging out with Darkseid.
What?
Joker and Darkseid have teamed up.
What?
No!
What?
So Darkseid and the Joker are manipulating the local election, the gubernatorial election of Metropolis, for the machinations of Darkseid and whatever scheme he's playing.
So wait, you're telling me
sucks.
Darkseid
What?
Darkseid,
Once
ruler
Trump-
of Apocalypse, is helping Trump win re-election of Metropolis, or of the state that Metropolis is in.
This is ridiculous.
And he and Joker have teamed up. Listen,
This is like a 1960s Batman TV plot.
that's what he's doing. I mean, Frank Miller has always wanted to make reference to and hold up reverence for Silver Age classic goofy DC stuff.
Well, and I guess this is Dark Knight Returns Darkseid.
Yes.
He is not necessarily this all-powerful like ruler of
Oh
Apocalypse.
no, but he is though.
Ah, damn
He still
it.
wields the Omega effect, and he like can't die. So we reveal that like the Joker and Darkseid are working together. Obviously, they're using the anti-life equation to manipulate the minds of people and whatnot.
Okay.
Joker has used his lipstick, his mind control lipstick, which he used in Dark Knight Returns, to influence these like little Joker boys. There's like instead of him having little like sentient robots that are the shape of dolls like he had, now it's actual children, and they're kind of like they're infiltrating the Twitterverse and they're propagating indefensible
They're
rhetoric,
trolls.
and they're trolls.
They're paid trolls.
They're paid trolls who are raising the argument and proliferating this negativity.
Right.
This is weird.
This is bonkers.
And that like Trump in the Dark Knight Returns book is a puppet / creation of
the Joker
and Darkseid.
Yeah.
In fact, it's articulated in brilliant metaphor by having an actual Trump hand puppet picked up by the Joker and used and wielded. As if to say, that, the metaphor escapes me. It's a little too dense for me to really penetrate, but let's try to just move on.
Well, it's like, do you get it?
Do you get it? He's a puppet of the
See?
evil that's ruling the real world. Yeah, I
I got it.
No,
Thanks.
I got it. When you made the Joker part of his campaign, I got it.
Yeah.
But now he's a hand puppet, so now I really get it.
No, this totally makes sense. I got it.
Okay.
The Bat Bunker sequence was a flashback
I
that
see.
set up the mob fight. So now we're back to the mob fight.
Okay.
Now we're back to the mob fight. Carrie is interrogating a Joker boy,
Okay.
and Laura is holding him up instead of like
We
roping
can't
him
just
up.
call them clowns.
Yeah, all right, clowns. Well, they call them Joker boys.
No, I know. I'm talking to Frank at this point.
boys.
Just call them clowns.
Well, because we need to establish that these are minions of the Joker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like,
we get it.
No, in Batman Returns, remember that Penguin wielded an army of clowns as well, but those were not Joker boys.
Those are different clowns. Those are
different
penguin clowns.
No, those are circus boys.
Those are Penguin boys.
Okay, so she's holding
Those
him
are
upside
chicks.
down.
Yep, and she's interrogating him. She's trying to get the information out of him. He's not giving it up. Laura shatters his ankle. Now he's willing to talk.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Is
I'm amazed
Batwoman
she
like,
didn't-
oh, you shouldn't do that?
No.
Or she's just like, nah, that's cool.
I'm
That's
amazed
cool.
she didn't
Whatever.
rip his foot off.
Yeah. No, I love it because she says the poor slob's directions are very specific about where the Joker is now. Painfully specific. Yeeks, she says. As if to indicate, yeah, it is a little extreme.
Yeah.
Me and Laura make one heck of a team. Right, sure. As in not. And I'm like, Frank, it's Carrie. She has lines like this. Like
She's actually had dialogue before.
she'd say something like, figure me and Laura are a team. But that was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So Joker puts on a red, white, and blue American suit. More people are voting than ever before. They were worried about that, but then Joker's like, no, but the right people are voting. Then Laura and Jonathan appear outside the window of this school where Darkseid and Joker have set up headquarters and just blast them with heat vision.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Jonathan swoops in and grabs the kids out of there, and then Laura lets Darkseid have it with a double dose of heat vision. She vaporizes Darkseid, he dies.
What?
But
Well, because she's so powerful. She's even more powerful
she is
than...
so powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, she destroyed Brainiac with the aid of like thousands of Kandorian Kryptonians who all went into her eyes and fed their heat vision into her heat vision. But that being said, she's still immeasurably powerful. So she vaporizes Darkseid. But little does she know, that isn't even his final form. So he forms into a giant storm cloud like Galactus in Rise of the Silver Surfer, and he strikes down an Omega like lightning bolt from himself, and cracks the Earth with his power, which causes Laura and Jonathan and Batwoman to back off, you see. And then he, as a storm cloud, kind of like becomes this kind of fire Darkseid and joins them on the ground and kind of reconstitutes into
Something they can punch again.
Right.
What?
So you've used your heat vision on me. You did kill me, but I am Darkseid. I'm eternal. You can't you can't stop me.
Okay, so he's like a god or something.
Right.
Where like you can't really kill him. You can...
This has never been
Disperse
something that
him.
Darkseid has been able to do.
Darkseid, when he here's the thing: you can't kill Darkseid. When you kill him, he becomes like a black hole, or he becomes a new version of Darkseid,
Or he becomes anti-life itself.
or he becomes a baby and then raises back into Darkseid.
So
Like,
this is like relatively consistent with Darkseid being like when
then
you
you're-
kill him,
he-
bad stuff happens, or when you try to. Like, it doesn't take.
Like, it doesn't work.
It's not.
if he's become a black hole before, this is actually less extreme than
It,
that.
well, because Miller definitely did not read Final Crisis, so he's not gonna do that. But also, he's like, I want to establish you can't just kill Darkseid.
Sure.
So
Yeah, but you could do that by just having her hit him with heat vision and nothing happens.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
he just stands there and takes it.
But the sequence where he turns into smoke is pretty cool looking.
It is.
Yeah, but
And
that
that's
means,
all
look
the
cool.
justification I need.
Yeah.
but that means like he's eternal.
Or something. Yeah.
So then he busts out the anti-life equation, I guess by talking. But he was
Right.
talking before and didn't work. But in this case, he uses it again or uses it for the first time, and then he starts to thrall all the humans who are nearby,
Okay.
which also includes Carrie.
Sure.
And Laura tries to get him, so Laura tries to get Carrie to snap out of it. Don't listen.
Right.
She says, no, he's starting to make sense.
Ah.
So then Laura filibusters while Darkseid tries to have his speech.
That's right. So she says, you've wiped their minds. He goes, yes, and I could have done it permanently, but I've only done it a little bit. They'll all get their minds back in a few minutes. I just wanted to prove my power.
Wait, what happened to the Joker?
He got away, like in the song. Unfortunately, the Batmobile did not break a wheel, and I don't know where Robin's eggs are, but the point is, the Joker is in the book for a little while. He'll show back up later.
Okay. That's all. When you said the Joker got it, I was like the song, and then my brain shut off for a second. It's like, what the fuck?
So then Darkseid engages a battle with Laura by unleashing the Omega effect.
Yeah, the Omega beams.
Yeah.
Omega whatever. Yeah.
Well, they are Omega beams. They're called the Omega effect.
Right.
And he blasts them out of his face.
Not the
at
Omega
Laura.
sanction.
No, because again, Frank didn't read Final Crisis. So the Omega effect is chasing after Laura because that's something.
That's what it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Laura thankfully fills in the gaps because I've never read a DC comic before in my life. The consequence of the Omega effect in this book is if they hit you, you don't just die. You will have never existed.
Okay.
It doesn't
Wait,
go back in
erased
time.
from existence.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like it erases everyone's memories of you. It's just kind of like you will have never been. She says it like that. No one gets hit by them, so we
What
don't
does
get to
that
find out what that
mean?
means.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I would assume that what it means is that it's like a retcon beam that literally makes it so that you had never existed up until that point.
So it alters history.
it alters history itself.
Yeah.
if
Which
it strikes you.
Which should alter people's memories too.
Yes, but
I would love it if it's like, do you know how many people you've lost that you don't even know about?
right, and that'd be kind of an amazing line.
I
I like
Omega
that.
affect people all the time. You have no idea.
I Omega affected 6 people before we even had this conversation.
Do you know the Justice League used to be a team of 20?
Yeah, why would they have 7? That's so stupid. There's 100 of them. And indeed there were. That's why Green Lantern's not in the book. So
That'd be
anyway,
amazing.
so she skillfully avoids these Omega effects until Jonathan gets into position.
Okay.
And then she cues up Jonathan, and then Jonathan blasts Darkseid with his powers. I would
Which is
hesitate
just
to call
heat vision, right?
Well, it's different because it's blue.
Oh,
Right.
that just means it's more concentrated, like flame.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
blue flame.
But we're indicating that this is something a little different. That Jonathan's powers are something else.
Oh, alpha beams.
Right.
What is all this? What is all this business happening around him?
Oh, that's the smoke from the battle, and John is emerging through the smoke.
Oh, I
That's
see.
how
It was-
Darkseid didn't see him coming.
No,
I
that's
see.
the giant fart that John is ripping.
Yeah.
That's what powers his blast.
yeah.
He's ripping a fart on one side and blasting.
Well, that
power
means
on
he's
the
just
other.
expelling energy. No, he's
Yeah, both
pulling
sides.
gas into his ass and then filtering it through his
It's like
central-
That's like
no, it's
reverse
a,
eating.
It's like a bazooka. The thing comes out the front and the blast
Yeah,
goes
that's
out the
the
back.
exhaust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the exhaust from the blast.
It could be.
Yeah, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. He's blasting something out the front, something's got to
gotta-
go out the back,
yeah.
or he'd go flying backwards.
Yeah. He's like a cooling tower for nuclear energy. So he blasts Darkseid.
No,
Darkseid's
this is all the smoke from the destruction that Darkseid was in.
Yeah.
Like when
Well, that's
he
really
reformed
what
I think it
himself.
also could be like the smoke from what Darkseid was.
Oh yeah. Oh,
'cause he
he's
was a
walking
storm
through
cloud.
Darkseid. Ew.
But Darkseid also is a guy, and here he is, and he's blasting him. So he's blasting Darkseid, and while Darkseid's distracted by being blasted by Jonathan, the Omega effect is still chasing Laura. So Laura, of course, flies into Darkseid, then jumps out of the way, and the Omega effect hits Darkseid, and Darkseid dies again. So the Omega
Oh,
effect...
Darkseid never existed
Wait.
now.
Yeah. But no, because once the carnage dissipates, the blast from the Omega effect hitting someone as powerful as Darkseid.
Sure.
And it looks like a nuclear blast has hit Metropolis.
Oh my God.
But there is an alert over the radio in these buildings that says, repeat, this is not a nuclear attack, you're okay. And in fact they are, and everyone's fine. It's just kind of like looking at this power dissipating. I guess it's more like a visualization of all the energy or whatever, but...
There's a giant crater, though.
There is a crater, though. Well, I mean, like, it is in the immediate vicinity of where Darkseid was hit.
Which means there's probably a ton of people that died.
Oh.
Well, there is a big explosion, but they probably ran away a while ago.
I would have run long before the Omega effect was even engaged.
Yeah.
So then, Darkseid's helmet falls from the sky and lands on the ground, and Laura spits on it, as if to say, yes, the beast is dead. You're done. So then, Carrie wakes up from having been mind-wiped, and she joins with Laura and Jonathan in the crater, and so they all stand around for a picture that nobody's going to take as the skies start to bleed. It's raining blood all over them.
It's raining Darkseid's blood, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
what?
They're like, holy crap.
It's Omega blood.
Yeah, all the, I mean, more or less. I mean, like, all the Bat Boys that are around them are like, oh my God, it's raining blood! And Laura and Batwoman have deduced that Darkseid is not dead. This is not like his entrails vaporizing.
That'd be cool if it was, though.
But this is a message that Darkseid is sending that it's like, you can't kill me. And he's sending like kind of like a biblical scare tactic onto them. He's making it rain blood.
So he controls the weather.
For the moment. It stops after a while.
Okay.
But that's when the moment occurs to Jonathan, and he says, wait a minute. Like, for no reason, I have realized that Darkseid is after me, because now he knows what kind of power I wield, and he will want to bend me to his will and use me to destroy the universe.
Because it's either like, kill me or use me.
Right. And that the rain effect was Darkseid's message to say, I'm coming for Jonathan.
What, like
What?
he's a firstborn son or something?
Right, like it could be the blood is
yeah.
a metaphor for, giving birth or something. In any event, the metaphors break down immediately following this moment.
But there's Darkseid in the universe somewhere.
So Darkseid is reborn, not unlike the universe, where it's like there was nothing and then there was Darkseid, and like Darkseid's energy kind of like reconstitutes in the middle of the universe and blasts out and destroys planets. And Darkseid, of course, is just like regenerated, and he's become like a cosmic cloud now.
Okay.
So there he is, made of colors and stars and energy, and he starts whipping towards the Earth, and he espouses about his plan for the Earth, which is, of course, he's going to go into the Earth, he's going to say goodbye to everybody by like kicking their ass, and then he's going to go into the center of the Earth, release the molten core, and turn the Earth into a black, burnt cinder, and then take Jonathan with him, and the two of them are going to start such carnage, such horrors.
He's making Earth apocalypse?
Yeah, but like
hasn't this been his villain before?
In other media, yes, but he's not making it apocalypse. He's just going to burn it.
All right.
He's not trying to turn it into like a place where his parademons can hang out. He's just going to burn the whole planet down.
What? Is that a new plan he has now that he has been vaporized twice? He's like, all right.
I guess.
Or was that always his plan? In which case, why didn't he just do it?
Well, what does the governor have to do with this?
Well, yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's
Yeah.
like, why was he messing around with that election if his plan was to burn the Earth to a cinder?
I'm thinking he's just kind of going with the flow.
He's just winging it. He's like, oh, all right, you want to burn me?
Yeah,
I'll burn your planet.
So then he arrives on Earth and creates a third corporeal form that can die again.
Man, you got to stop doing that. That's your mistake.
So Darkseid's
Stop
back.
being corporeal.
But I gotta punch you.
Yeah.
So Darkseid lands.
And he's huge.
And he's
Bigger than ever.
He's bigger than ever, but he can change his form so that you can punch him. But now he's a new design, and it's a pretty baller design. It's a lot of negative space, just like it's nothing, and then like his hands and face, the places where Lara's gonna punch, and so you got a new Darkseid. He's reborn.
See, this is what I don't get. You had the entire beginning of the book be so politically charged.
I know. It's like what's
the point now?
I think that Darkseid is like an allegory for like the rhetoric surrounding the Trump campaign, according to Frank Miller. That like you can't stop opposing ideas or toxic rhetoric.
Or hate.
You can't punch hate.
Right. If you try, it'll
only get stronger.
come back or something.
And cause more damage.
Or something.
Or something.
Well, you can't get rid of hate.
Yeah.
It will always exist.
Right.
It's like an elemental force.
And it has many forms.
Yeah.
So anyway, meanwhile in Gotham, Joker and his team are driving around in like a 1947 Packard, and they're causing trouble, you know. And,
They're raising hell.
They're raising hell, and thankfully Batwoman's on the case, and she busts into their ceiling of their car, and she says that she's scaring them, but in the panel where she says that, she's really just more showing them how long her tongue is.
Yeah, she's sticking her tongue out.
It's long.
It's a little weird.
I mean, it's impressive, but like hardly frightening. So Joker is distracted by being so frightened by Carrie's appearance that he's just shooting wildly, and she causes the car to veer into another car.
Killing innocent bystanders.
Oh, naturally. I mean, I think he's okay, but we never get a backstory on that guy. We never get any closure on the passerby.
Yeah.
But we get some cool splash images of Carrie Kelly as Batwoman, and I gotta say, I want to point this out. I really like the cape structure because if you notice, she has two capes.
Yeah.
She has like a cloak cape, like it's like a coat. Like the cape is attached to her sleeves, and then there's like an upper cape, which is kind of like mimicking bat wings. And I feel like if it wasn't done by Grandpa, it wouldn't really work, but it does really well.
Yeah.
And I really, really like it.
Cool design.
We get some really cool images where basically Carrie allows the Packard to crash into an arcade because Frank remembers that Carrie likes arcades from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, remember that?
Remember those arcades? Well, they're back. So
was she mad because it got destroyed?
No, she actually veered it into there because that's her domain. She's like, oh, this is like my home. Like,
so I'm going to destroy my home by pushing a
she's
car through it.
No, she drove them in there because she knows they're not going to be stopped.
Oh.
So they're going to get out into the arcade.
Oh,
so then they get into the arcade.
And she'll fight them inside.
So
the arcade is how I survive. Like that's where I live. This is my playground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she kicks on the amp. I guess she's like going to patch into the PA system, and she lets out this kind of giggle that's supposed to frighten the Joker, which I presume does.
She's turning the tables on him.
Yeah,
He's usually putting people into like traps and
and
stuff,
laughing.
Traps,
showing up on
and
screens and laughing at them and stuff.
Yeah. So
he's in her world now, bitch.
That's right. So they, run into the arcade. She cuts the power.
And he's like, "You think the arcade is your ally?"
Yeah, I was born. Molded by it.
I was born in a fun house. It's kind of the same.
When you think about it.
It's all games.
Merely adopted it.
So then Carrie kills the lights, and we get like the most Dark Knight Returns I've ever seen a sequel to Dark Knight Returns ever look.
Okay.
Where we get like a million panels, because for some reason Frank loves a million panels.
Yeah.
And but like it's evocative of classic Frank Miller art.
Yeah.
And I want to say maybe he even like lent his art to this, but I can't be sure.
Yeah.
She picks off each of the Joker gang one by one. She's taking out people. She's scaring the Joker shooting his own people. So taking people off the off the table.
I don't like the fact that Joker's getting scared.
That's weird. Really Joker. I mean,
I was gonna say
dead.
Joker's dead. This is some other guy.
Joker, and they kind of through narration indicate that like this is yet another Joker. But also they don't explain where he came from or why.
And they call
he
him
acts
the
like
Joker. So like.
Yeah.
And Darkseid was working with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Darkseid makes a point of saying when you first see them together that he's gonna crack his neck, which is how Joker died in the last one. So you're like, did Darkseid resurrect the Joker for his nefarious schemes?
Oh. Or did he just read The Dark Knight Returns
and go like
making that reference?
I'm gonna kill you like the guy that you're based off of. In any event, all the Joker boys are taken out, and then Batwoman kicks Joker in the face. The end.
Oh, it's a scene from any Arkham game.
Yes.
Where you have to take out the underlings and then
before you can take out the bad guy.
Naturally, yeah.
Well, or just any video game where you fight the boss. You got to take out all the little guys.
Carrie sets off an explosion and sets up her phone. So she rides the explosion and kicks the Joker in the face. And the phone snaps an awesome picture of herself kicking him in the face. And then she texts the picture to Batman.
Oh, she's Spider-Man now.
Right. And so and then she says, "Clown down, boss." And then Batman sends an emoji of Batman's hand giving the thumbs up.
Of course he has emojis for his own hand.
Yeah, he had his own
ridiculous.
emojis commissioned.
Oh, and then she sends a Batman heart.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
my God.
But I love Batman, not actually you.
no. Well, remember, he's young now. Because in Dark Knight 3 The Master Race, Superman put him in the Lazarus Pit.
Right.
So Bruce Wayne is like around Carrie's age now.
Oh my God, no.
They didn't do anything. We haven't seen it yet, but that heart
That's a
speaks
heart.
volumes. But I guess taking down the Joker then triggered Darkseid, because then Darkseid shows back up as a lightning bolt, which then, kind of infects the city as like a wave of fire, and then he kind of like reconstitutes from the fire and becomes physical Darkseid, and then faces off against Lara and demands Jonathan.
Okay.
So Lara's like, I'm gonna kill you again.
Right.
And Darkseid's like, sure, and then blasts her, with another Omega effect, which he calls the Maelstrom now.
Oh,
because
that's the Omega Maelstrom.
Right.
Oh,
Or
it's
the-
'cause
or
I use
the
my-
Maelstrom.
I use my beams, and instead of chasing you, I just make them go into a typhoon.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
the Omega Maelstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she is enveloped in this Omega Maelstrom.
Wait until I make the Omega Gorigami.
So,
It's an Omega in the shape of a tiny paper crane.
oh, that's cool.
It kills you, though.
Oh, okay. Does it unmake me like I never existed?
Well, it unmakes you, but like you get folded into yourself. And then
God.
you become something before you disappear.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, that's not bad.
All right.
It's very painful,
Oh.
Oh.
but beautiful.
Oh.
It's got, dichotomy to it.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's poetic.
Anyway, so Lara, for no reason whatsoever, is able to manipulate the Omega Maelstrom and then, throws it back at Darkseid, who then absorbs it, and he's like, you can't beat me now. I died 2 times, so I'm
Right.
even more strong than
What do you
before.
think's going to happen?
What?
Well, he gets stronger every time he dies?
No.
What is he, Doomsday?
No, he's just saying, you can't stop me. So Darkseid then, absorbs the energy of the Omega Maelstrom and then uses his hypnotic thrall that he didn't use before on Lara, and then, basically anti-life equations her brain so that she has to listen to him.
Okay.
And so he basically turns her into kind of like a husk, and she's just kind of floating there for now.
Okay.
And then Jonathan faces off against him.
Wasn't this what happened on Apocalypse at one point?
I don't know.
Didn't Darkseid,
To who?
enthrall her? Lara, I
Oh
thought.
yeah, no, in Batman Superman Apocalypse.
Yeah.
There's a Superman Batman book in which Supergirl is reestablished in post-crisis continuity.
It's Supergirl. That's
and
what I
it
was
is
thinking
Supergirl,
of.
but this is still Supergirl.
Yeah,
it's
there's
not
a different
that
Supergirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This seemed very familiar.
It is familiar,
Is
yeah.
that a reference to that? Did he read
I
that?
doubt it. I think it's more just I need to make Lara go away for a minute so that
Right.
Jonathan can fight Darkseid.
Right, but I don't want to kill her, so I'll make her a...
Like a mindless zombie for now.
Yeah, okay.
But Jonathan...
Do they really have to make Jonathan so powerful
Yeah.
Yes.
that he can defeat Darkseid
Yes.
on his
Yes.
own?
Uh-huh.
Isn't it weird that a child
He's the
would
golden
defeat
child. I
Darkseid?
named this book after that concept.
Yeah.
Also, who knows? Look, Frank Miller set up Lara as kind of the next generation, but then we kind of character assassinated her. So now we need a new character to be the hope for mankind.
Yeah.
And that
Superman's
wouldn't be.
not here for some reason.
That can't be Carrie?
Nah,
Why not Batman? Batman's young.
I know. Well, then that kind of undoes all the stuff I said about the future and young people, because now it's well, unless you're old and can be young again, then definitely do that.
Yeah.
The future belongs to the young, unless you can master your own age, in which case the future should belong to the older people because they know better. But Jonathan flies in the face of that. In fact, he says, "You are an old fart. And old people are full of talk and full of braggadocio. You're always bragging about how old you are and how awesome you are, but being old doesn't mean that you're right." Which of course is
Okay.
what Frank Miller's trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
He's attacking the...
Well, since he's an old person, I
unless
appreciate
you're talking
that.
about
Yeah.
me, in which case I am right.
Right.
Because I'm Frank Miller.
Right, but and there's also there was a promo for this which said the future is young. So that's, I assume, part of the message of the story, which
Sure.
is about how the future belongs to the young, and the young kind of you should listen to them.
Yeah. To some extent, anyway.
They
Yeah.
have more power than you ever will.
That's true.
Yeah. They'll shoot you with their
awesome powers.
awesome eye beams that have ambiguous abilities.
That's right, because the Darkseid blasts an Omega Maelstrom at Jonathan, and Jonathan blasts whatever the hell shoots out of his eyes at the Omega Maelstrom, and I gotta tell you, when I got to this panel, I was like, that's kind of dope looking though, where he like cuts the beams with his own beams, and like the power, the raw energy of Jonathan's power is like rolling off of the Omega Maelstrom. And it's just really an awesome image.
It does look cool. They also describe it. They say it's a Neutron Vision.
Yeah,
Thank you. A new power.
Thank you.
He's
Neutron
using.
Vision. Whatever the hell that's supposed
It's
to
a beam of neutrons.
Fair enough.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the use of this Neutron Vision basically causes like reality to alter. It doesn't like undo anything or bring anybody back to life. It's just kind of like the world shudders at the expression of such raw power.
Okay.
And and Darkseid's like afraid and like winces, and you're like, are we gonna kill him 3 times in this book?
Are you kidding me?
So then,
Darkseid was nothing and then destroyed practically an entire galaxy.
Yeah.
When he came back into existence.
Yes.
And he's afraid of this.
Yeah.
The world is shuddering at it. Sure.
reality itself is shuddering. So Darkseid grabs Jonathan, and then Jonathan
and just shakes him.
he does basically, and then Jonathan reveals, "You can't hold me. You can't see me. I'm in your brain now. I'm everywhere. I am everything." And you're like, "Wait, what?"
What does that mean, though?
So Jonathan, I guess maybe he like shrank
Did he,
himself
like,
down
infect
or
him?
infected him. Yeah, with
Like,
his power.
you touched me. That was your first mistake. Now I'm inside you.
So now I'm popping veins in your brain. That must hurt.
What?
Yeah. And that's what Jonathan's doing.
So does he disappear? You don't see him because he's like inside?
Yes.
Ugh.
So then Jonathan basically breaks Darkseid's control over Lara.
Oh.
And then Darkseid's like, "Oh, no, you don't." So he tries to blast Lara, but then Jonathan says, "Stay calm, sister. I've got you." And then she fades into nothing.
Oh, she becomes incorporeal?
Yeah. And she says, "We'll be back, Darkseid. Don't you worry." And then disappears. So Jonathan and Lara are gone. And Darkseid is just kind of left there in the crater that he left before, just kind of like holding his face. And then somebody hits Darkseid in the face with a piece of rubble, and he starts bleeding.
Oh, they took his power away.
Yeah. And so Batwoman is standing along with not just Bat Boys, but everyone. Everyone is united under their
against
desire
Darkseid.
to kill
The whole
Darkseid.
city, except for the Joker boys.
Well, we don't see the Joker. Boys.
Yeah,
they're
not
defeated.
Yeah,
but
Batwoman got him.
everyone stands there, and and Batwoman proclaims to Darkseid, "The game is over, and so is your stupid fake election." And all these people of varying races and credos and belief systems, they're all standing there with their fists clenched in righteous rage, and they are joining with Batwoman to, I guess, rip Darkseid apart. The end.
Wow. That's madness.
Okay, how did they stop the election?
Well, they
Like,
Darkseid
how did they
was-
reveal anything?
because Darkseid was behind it the whole time,
Yeah,
and once you kill him,
his anti-life equation was like mind-wiping people or brainwashing people or influencing people, maybe.
No, it wasn't. It
No,
was
but
it was terrifying the people who were sane and rational to stay indoors because of all the riots.
well, it was
that
also causing
his
the
people
riots.
could go out
Causing
and
the
vote.
riots.
well, it's causing people to vote for Donald Trump. They wouldn't have
Yes.
voted for him if they weren't under his thrall.
What about
I
the
guess.
trolls?
No, that was
and
the thing.
Joker. Why, if Darkseid could control people using his anti-life equation,
Oh yeah, why did he need?
why did he need the
Yeah.
Joker at all?
Yeah, no, he was the riots. He says like the riots are going to keep like the
good people-
the good people in like scared away in their homes.
Yes.
so
Well,
that
I guess-
our
my
people can
people.
go
I
and
guess
vote.
he
Yes.
was creating the Joker children that would cause people to riot,
Yes.
and so you take all that away, and now it doesn't work anymore. 'Cause
Right.
Other people now, normal people will go to the polls now,
Right.
and so there you go.
So there
if you
it
didn't
is.
defeat Darkseid, he would just recreate the
He would
whole
just
thing.
do it all over again.
I don't
right.
think people are going to go to the polls. The city is in ruins.
Well, there's other cities.
Well, they can fill out absentee ballots at least.
Yeah.
But so
Maybe they'll postpone the election. I mean, we don't know how far away. Maybe they got time to clean
yeah,
it up.
I assume they do. But that is Dark Knight Returns, the Golden Child, and setting up the future. Frank's not done. You could tell, like, he's got something to say about Lara and Jonathan.
I wish he said it in this book.
Well, they disappear, and they say, "We'll come back."
Don't worry.
And also, Lara didn't learn anything about humanity, so she's still going to be a jackass, unless Jonathan gets through to her and makes her a better person.
Is this supposed to be like a fantasy for young people? It's like, don't you just want to punch like all this bullshit in the
bullshit you
face?
disagree with?
and then you could finally defeat it, because that's kind of dangerous, because like you can't.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, Frank,
Well,
but
metaphorically speaking, like your neutrino vision is your free will and expression and your beliefs and your rationality, and if you just focus it against hate, you will always win.
or something. Yeah, but like no, because that's not what they do
Yeah,
in
but
this book.
hate
In this
also
book,
has neutrino vision.
in this book, they stop the guy who was fomenting all the problems.
Oh yeah, well all the problems just still come from like a supervillain though.
Yeah, like we can't do that though.
No.
So what am I supposed to do?
I think that this is supposed to be like a cathartic reaction
Yes.
that Frank Miller needed to say, and he's
Yeah.
like, well, I might as well get paid for it by making it a Batman book.
True.
Because he's like, I want to say something, I want to react to
Yeah.
the world that I'm looking at.
Right.
And
Well,
I'm
all
a
right.
writer, so I'm going to do it through fiction. And so I'll get my message out there even clearer if it's a Batman book, because then more people will buy it, as opposed to it being like an original creation.
So the message here is that Lara sucks.
Well, I
hang on,
know
hang on.
that's
It's
more
incidental. She
that's
just sucks.
inherited
Hang
from the prior
Yes.
book.
Lara sucks.
Yes.
Carrie is still doing what she has to.
She's
in love with
awesome.
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who we don't get to see.
No.
And Jonathan is just like, people talk too much and this is boring. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna just use all my power and destroy Darkseid.
I'm just gonna
Those are
do
things
something.
that happen in the book, yes.
Yeah.
So what is the message?
The
Because
message.
this seems not to
Well, it's
have-
all over the place.
It is all over the place.
But what is the message? Let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about the Golden Child? I guess you're the Golden Child? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I guess if you want to make a message out of what Jonathan's saying, it's that like
Because I'm
don't
wondering that myself.
like. Yes, adults will just like talk and talk and talk
There's
about
no
this
action.
stuff.
They never really
But
make
you
any
have
change.
you gotta do something. Like
you
don't
must go.
become like them. Like instead like react in a more like meaningful, helpful way.
Yes, and that could be.
I don't know what
that
that
could be going to
is.
vote. That could
Maybe.
be volunteering, or it could be blasting them with your neutrino vision.
Neutron Vision.
Neutron vision. Thank you. Excuse me. Very different things.
Yeah. Is this Greta Thunberg?
It absolutely is. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's just checking.
Unquestionably, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah. All right. But there's no climate change discussion in here, is there? Or
No,
did you
she
gloss
just
over it?
represents.
You know, the
That
side
argument.
of right.
I see. Well, she
Or-
is a
or
young
just
person who
or something.
She's a young person who is doing something.
who is doing something to try to affect her reality.
Yes.
So the
And
sons of
take
Batman
it back from the.
They're not anything. They're just in the book.
No, well, they're
but
because
they
they
are
existed
the
already.
people who are on the side of good.
Sort
They're
of.
the
Yes,
boots on
yes.
the ground.
Yeah.
Trying to affect change.
They don't
Yeah.
really affect much change or do anything in this book, so it's harder to say that they represent anything so much as they are part of Carrie's fist. Like, Carrie is the representation of, like, the grassroots, get out there and do something movement of the young. Jonathan is, like, the rational portion of that, or
Yeah.
where the real power lies. You know, like, Carrie's doing what Batman would do, which is arguably the older way of doing things. And Jonathan has to do something better and new and stronger because he does represent the best of us because he's Kryptonian.
But so's Carrie or Lara.
He's
But
the
Lara's
best
also an
human because
asshole.
he's an alien.
And I can't not use Lara. I can't pretend
Right.
she doesn't exist. Though I could have easily said she's just on Paradise Island
Well,
and she's just training some more.
It's
But
kind
whatever.
it's kind of interesting because her perspective actually is somewhat validated by what's happening.
Yes, she represents cynicism.
Right. And there's,
Youthful cynicism,
there's
too.
there's plenty around her to like seemingly validate it because
True.
she could point to like, well, look at who these people
Yeah.
are voting for and whatnot.
And Jonathan refuses to accept it, not because he has great examples,
Mm-hmm.
but more because of just his naivete, you might say, but his youthful optimism.
Right, which is a good thing.
Yes, which is-
because he's ultimately correct that like in this book you can defeat it. You
Yes.
don't just have to accept
No.
that humans are horrible. Like they can be
Right.
better
At
if
the
we
end of the day-
if we take away the things that are like corrupting.
Lara
them.
is immeasurably powerful and could kill Darkseid a couple of times.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you can't stop Darkseid by believing in what Lara says or
Right.
being Lara. Like, you can't be cynical and win.
Right.
You have to also have optimism and and hope. I
Yeah,
guess.
that seems
Which is actually a kind of a positive message.
Yeah. Well, okay, so she exists already. So like you got to deal with what she can do.
Well, and you got to do something.
She's in the
with her.
universe. Yeah. So like she is representing something that's like currently happening, but she's ultimately not a superhero. So she's not like strong enough to
can't fight Darkseid.
She can't fight Darkseid.
But she can fight the Joker.
Right, and
And
she
that's the
does,
thing, like-
and she should be, and she is, and she's got the sons of Batman with her, and they're doing what they can.
Yeah, and maybe like Darkseid and the Joker working together, while it's disproportionate and something that would never happen, they represent multiple facets of what Frank Miller identifies as a problem. Where he's like, Darkseid is the bigger picture, and Joker is the like literal
The means to
problem.
how it happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like this is
right.
the execution of that like cloud of hate.
Right. Yeah, he's less like a person than if what he represents in our world is not like a thing.
He's
it's
the
not like
pink
a guy.
slime.
Yeah,
he's the organization.
exactly. Yeah, or the ideology or
Yeah,
the
he's-
way of thinking.
Yes, he's thought. Joker is action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joker's is how the stuff gets done.
So
Yeah.
so in that sense,
that's
like
why
the
he has.
manifestation, yeah.
That's why he has those 3 little kids on the laptops doing stuff
Yeah,
and researching.
Yeah.
and why they look like Jokers because
Yeah.
it's like it's all part of this whole system.
well, and that okay. So now it's a little more interesting to me because like Jonathan then is the same thing, right? Because they're hitting each other with these friggin' like beams of energy, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, what is all that stuff? Well, that's kind of the point. It's like
Right.
their abstract character is representing abstract ideas.
Yeah.
Carrie and Joker are us.
Yes.
Because they're actual physical people on the ground who are limited in what we can do.
Right.
And these other characters are more abstract and
They're gods.
yeah, they're
So
gods.
Who are we to judge or chronicle how they do what they do?
Right, and you
Which is
can't.
why when Darkseid finally gets a hold of Jonathan becomes thought.
Yes.
Like at the end of the day, the only way to stop it is with ideas and by infecting
That's
your brain.
interesting.
Yeah.
So that's a cool
Yeah.
concept. So that if you
Yeah.
if you break it down,
Yeah.
with thought, with that type of idealism,
Yes.
you can actually break down the power
Yes.
that the evil monster essentially
Right,
has.
yeah.
And then rational people, the everyday person, can destroy that monster.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We're just riffing about what these things mean.
Yeah.
The blood rain is obviously a biblical reference, right?
Sure.
It's supposed to be like a harbinger of doom.
Yeah, a plague.
And so Lara kills Darkseid using her hate and her rage, and Darkseid is seemingly defeated, but at the end of the day, Darkseid then manifests blood rain.
But
and
Darkseid is defeated by his own means. It's his Omega Sanction.
yeah,
that
but
hits
it's
him.
but it's her cleverness. Like she kills him in effect. But the point being that like Lara's way of beating Darkseid or fighting hate is ultimately self-defeating, or maybe it works in the short term, but it doesn't actually get results. And the blood rain is like their way of saying like, if you continue to operate this way, if you keep fighting hate like Lara does, or with Lara's ideology,
Right.
you will end the world. And like the blood rain is its way of
right.
saying like
it might even just keep getting worse.
it might only get worse.
Yeah. It's an immediate signal that like you
You
didn't.
did not succeed.
Yes.
That's the weird part.
Yeah.
And this is
But
another thing I have an issue
If you
with.
try to take it like literally the way that she beats him, it doesn't make any sense because it's like, well, she has him hit himself with beams and Jonathan blows him away with beams. Like, what's better about his way? But it's more like
It's about who does it.
it's about who does it
Yeah.
and what they're saying when they do it.
Well, and
and-
building off what you said, like if you want to go even further, be like, okay, so he killed himself. Like I guess if you use your cynicism and
Oh.
hate and try to turn like the other side's arguments against themselves, that may be like gratifying and successful seemingly, but it actually doesn't solve the problem because you're not really changing minds the way that John does by pulling his veins out of his skull.
That's
what
literally
you need
changing
to
someone's
do.
mind.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is grotesque because it's Frank Miller, but it's also like, physically changing minds. I mean, how else am I
Yeah.
going to have him change? It's not like there's going to be a sequence where Jonathan takes Darkseid to a physical realm where he can't hurt him or do anything or affect the reality, and then they have a discourse in which Jonathan actually changes Darkseid's mind.
right.
He has to really kill Darkseid because Darkseid is hate. He is
Sure.
evil.
Yeah.
There is no convincing Darkseid of anything else. So
Right.
you have to kill him. And if you need to hammer home your message of changing minds, then I guess having Jonathan literally go into Darkseid's brain and breaking it is the best way to do it.
It's the only way you're going to
It's
get
the only way. If you're going to start with Darkseid, you're going to turn that into the metaphor. You got to follow it to its logical closure point. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
Look, he always has ideas. It's not that he doesn't have like interesting ideas.
Well, except for Dark Knight 3: The Master Race, which is
Well,
just a cash grab.
It might not be
and
his.
Dark
like,
Knight
any real
Returns.
way.
Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Sorry, Strikes Again.
This seems almost like a cross between Dark Knight Returns and Dark Knight Strikes Again.
is.
Like it's maybe trying to find a balance between the more like fantastical elements.
And the thing he wants to actually say about the world.
Yeah.
Like Dark Knight Returns.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he definitely had something he wanted to say with Dark Knight Strikes Again, but it was like obscured. It was like too bizarre to
Because
really
Dark Knight
wrap your
Strikes
head
Again was
around
also birthed from the Bush era.
Yes.
And 9/11. And he's absolutely talking about like the proliferation of social media and the 24-hour news cycle and the puppet masters of the political process. Like that, he is saying something with Dark
Yeah,
Knight
that's
Strikes
all in
Again.
there, yeah.
But it's also articulated through like a giant green frog monster and like
Yeah, it's a little too weird.
it was
to
weird.
just be-
The art didn't reflect the tone.
Yeah.
And also, Frank was trying to do too many things. Again, he was like,
Yeah.
well, I want to also write like a Flash story, and I want to do Superman, and I want to talk about the Atom and stuff, and I want to have like fun with superheroes and crap, but I also have something to say because I'm outraged by the world right now.
It's just
Yeah.
too much.
This seems like more focused, but similar in...
Execution.
Yeah,
Well, it's more
like,
focused because it's also
objective.
shorter. Like
That
it's
also-
shorter. He had
that's
a
true.
limited number
Very
of pages.
true.
Yeah, but it could have been as long as he wanted it to be.
And I'm
Right.
glad it's this.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
It was just long enough.
Interesting.
It's long enough where I want a little more.
That's that's like Dark Knight Returns: The Last Crusade, where Robin dies. That's another one where it's like this length, little story. It's actually kind of interesting, and then it stops, and you're like, oh. But I really would like closure.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. So yeah, Dark Knight Returns: The Golden Child is available now. You can get it at any comic book store. I'll put a link in the description, such that it is, but you can grab it anywhere. So yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Well, there it is.
So see you next week.